not much story behind the music, is there?
Oh, you don't know the half of
I
it.
still feel like a very ordinary person.
Songwriting is good therapy.
I write songs.
I wrote this song and
No, don't edit this
I
part
don't know
out.
any of you and
We
I'm
were
telling
just
you
these kids in a garage.
Let's start at the beginning now.
Welcome to Storytelling.
Welcome to Storytelling.
Welcome to Storytellers.
Thank you. Sit. Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to Storytellers. Tonight I'm going to play a few songs and try to give you an idea about where they came from. It's kind of an iffy proposition because talking about music is like talking about sex. Can you describe it? Are you supposed to? So we'll see, I guess. I got my finger on the trigger, but I don't know who to trust. And I look into your eyes, there's just devils and dust. We're a long, long way from home, Bobby. Home's a long, long way from us. I feel a dirty wind blowing. Devils and dust. But I got God on my side, and I'm just trying to survive. What if what you do to survive kills the things you love? Fear's a powerful thing, baby. Can turn your heart black, you can trust. It'll take your God-filled soul, fill it with devils and dust. Well, I dreamed of you last night in a field of blood and stone. Blood began to dry, smell began to rise. Well, I dreamed of you last night, Bobby, in a field of mud and bone. Blood began to dry, the smell began to rise. We got God on our side, and we're just trying to survive. What if what you do to survive kills the things you love? Fear's a powerful thing, baby. Can turn your heart black, you can trust. It'll take your God-filled soul, fill it with devils and dust. Yeah, it'll take your God-filled soul, fill it with devils and dust. Now every woman and every man wanna take a righteous stand, find the love that God wills and the faith that He commands. I got my finger on the trigger, and tonight faith just ain't enough. When I look inside my heart, there's just devils and dust. Well, I got God on my side, and I'm just trying to survive. What if what you do to survive kills the things you love? Fear's a dangerous thing, baby. And turn your heart black, you can trust. It'll take your God-filled soul, fill it with devils and dust. It'll take your God-filled soul, fill it with devils and dust. All right, so where's that come from? Well, I came from, I think I wrote it towards the end of the last tour shortly after we entered Iraq. First thing you need is, you need a good song title. So Devils and Dust, get good song title gets you a long ways. You need a strong metaphor, focuses and shapes the writing of the rest of the song. So Devils and Dust kind of suggests confusion, a story about being placed into a situation where your choices are untenable, and the price that inflicts in blood and in spirit. So let's go. I'll give it to you line by line. I got my finger on the trigger. I got the power of life and death here, but I don't know who to trust. I got the power of life and death here, but I don't know who to trust. In those first two lines, that's where the personal aspect of the song and the political aspect kind of collide. I'm talking about him. I'm talking about us. A lot of what you need to know about the rest of the song is kind of contained in those first two lines and has been played out over the past few years. I got my finger on the trigger, but I don't know who to trust. When I look into your eyes, all I see is devils and dust. So when I'm looking at you, I don't know if I'm seeing you. I don't know if I'm seeing myself. I don't know if I'm seeing my fears. I don't know if I'm seeing my highest ideals that I've promised to sacrifice my life for. Or I don't know if I'm seeing my death coming at me. And the problem is I have to know right now. We're a long, long way from home. Bobby, home's a long, long way from us. I've been separated from all the things that have given my life shape and meaning till now. My family, my home, my work, the things that ground me and that I recognize as myself. I feel a dirty wind blowing, devils and dust. Got God on my side. Who does not? I'm just trying to survive. What if what you do to survive kills the things you love? That's the personal and the political crashing together again. What if what you do to stay alive destroys some part of you? What if what we do destroys our ideals? As we sit here tonight, we're experiencing kind of an erosion of our civil liberties, which is what I was thinking about when I was writing this chorus. Now your skin, please. Now your skin, may be the right color, so it's unlikely to affect you, and I suppose the Red Bank Al-Qaeda cell is in a deep sleep. But what's been going on is very dangerous and un-American. Fear is a powerful thing. Yes, it is. It will take your God-filled soul. Yes, it will. And fill it with devils and dust. The second verse is, I dreamed of you last night in a field of blood and stone. That's death, it's finality, and its price tag. What's working against the lyrics the music is working against the lyrics. That's the sound of resistance. It's the unspoken subtext that the lyrics rest on. So you're hearing a regular guy caught in the crosshairs of history, and you're hearing his conversation with himself, and you're hearing his inner struggle. And what gives the song its power and its tension is the tension between the lyric, what he knows is happening to him, and his resistance, his refusal, which is given voice in the music and the performance. I got my finger on the trigger, but I don't know who to trust. When I look into your eyes, so that the music informs the lyric with so much extra information, even if it's as simple as that. Third verse, every woman and every man want to make a righteous stand. Most of us. Find the love that God wills, the faith that he commands, and I got my finger on the trigger, but tonight faith just ain't enough. Faith ain't enough. You got to be active in some fashion. You've got to be in the physical world and take action. When I look inside my heart, all I see is devils and dust. So all of this, the singer knows that all of this is inside. That these are my times, and this is my house, and this is my fight, and these are my choices. And that we've all been bitten by the snake, but we don't have to all succumb to its poison. So, how much of this was I thinking about when I wrote the song? None of it. I wrote all of that yesterday afternoon at my kitchen table. How much of it was I feeling when I wrote the song? All of it. That's how they get written. Let me move on to something else. Can I have the guitar? I wrote a lot of notes, which I will be drawing from. I wrote them yesterday, the day before. I thought they were really brilliant. But then I read them this morning, and I sounded like I was really full of myself, which I don't actually need notes to help me with. So. But I'll be checking on them as we go through the night. All right, this was a song that was written. I handed my first record in to Clive Davis, and yeah, this is great, but there's no hits. There's nothing, not play anything on the radio. So I'm thinking, oh, no hits. We gotta have some hits, you know. So I went to the beach and I wrote this song, and I wrote Spirit and Night, but I wrote, I think, Blinded by the Light. And so I handed the record in, and I found Clarence, who had been missing in action, which is why he's only on the first two songs of the first album. Couldn't find him, you know. And let me set the scene. I'm sitting on my bed. People always ask this one question, it's the dumbest question in the world, but they always ask you, what came first, the music or the words? You know, when somebody wants to ask you a song about songwriting. Usually, I only can tell you this, in this song, the words came first. And I was sitting on my bed with a rhyming dictionary in one hand and a notebook in the other one. I am in my apartment, which is above an old abandoned beauty salon in Asbury Park. And what happened? Madman drummers, bombers, and Indians in the summer with a teenage diplomat. In the dumps where the mumps as the adolescent pumps his way into his hat. With a boulder on my shoulder, feeling kind of older, I tripped the merry-go-round, where this very unpleasing sneezing and wheezing, Calliope crashed to the ground. Some old hot half-shot was heading for the hot spot, snapping his fingers, clapping his hands. Some flesh pot mascot was tied into a lover's knot with a whatnot in her hand. How young Scott with a slingshot finally found a tender spot and throws his lover in the sand. Some bloodshot forget-me-not whispers daddies with an earshot, save the buckshot, turn up the band. And she was blinded by light, cut loose like a deuce, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. She got down, but she never got tight. She's gonna make it all right. Some brimstone, baritone, anti-cyclone, rolling stone, preacher from the east. He says dethrone the dictaphone, hit it in its funny bone. Yeah, that's where they expect it least. Some new moon chaperone was standing in the corner all alone, watching the young girls dance. Some fresh sown moonstone was messing with his frozen zone to remind him of the feeling of romance. And he was blinded by the light, cut loose like a deuce, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. He got down, but he never got tight. He's gonna make it all right. Some silicone sister with her manager's mister told me I got what it takes. She said, I'll turn you on, Sonny, to something strong if you play that song with the funky break. And go-kart Mozart was checking out the weather chart to see if it was safe to go outside. And little Early Pearly came by in her curly whirly, asked me if I needed a ride. Oh, some hazard from Harvard was skunked on beer, playing backyard bombardier. Scotland Yard was trying hard. They sent some dude with a calling card. He said, do what you like, but don't do it here. Well, I jumped up, turned around, spit in the air, fell on the ground. I asked him which was the way back home. He said, take a right at the light, keep going straight all night, and then, boys, you're on your own. There's more. In Zanzibar, a shooting star was riding in a sidecar, humming a lunar tune. And the avatar said, blow the bar, but first remove the cookie jar. We're gonna teach those boys to laugh too soon. Some kidnapped handicap was complaining that he caught the clap from some mousetrap he bought last night. Well, I unsnapped the skull cap between his ears, I saw a gap, figured it'd be alright. Well, he was blinded by the light, cut loose like a deuce, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Mama always told me not to look into the sights of the sun. Oh, but mama, that's where the fun is. I was blinded. This is the best part. I was blinded. I was blinded. I was blinded. I was blinded. Thank you. Yes, yes. Please remain seated. I know a minor masterpiece. I understand. But, so what was that one about? You know, that was, well, I always say that that's a song that explains why I never did any drugs. I don't think I could have stood it. My mind was already reeling, but I'll give it to you a little bit by bit. All right, Madman Drummers, Bummers, and Indians in the Summer. Mad Dog Vincent Lopez, drummer in the E Street Band. He was always getting in shit. And Indians in the Summer. Well, the Indians was my little league team when I was a kid. So, but it was also kind of the Cowboys and Indians in the Woods. But the teenage Indians in the Summer, the Teenage Diplomat. Well, that's me. All right. In the Dumps with the Mumps, I was diseased. As the adolescent pumps his way into his hat, self-explanatory. With a boulder on my shoulder, I've always felt something big pressing down my whole life. Feeling kind of older, I tripped a merry-go-round. That's where I was living. That was the boardwalk. And with this very unpleasing sneezing and wheezing, Calliope crashed to the ground. That was, I seek chaos and disruption, I suppose. Some all hot half shots heading for the hot spot, snapping his fingers, clapping his hands. That's me. Some flesh plot. Is that right? Am I missing that? Scott, young Scott. Are we missing something? That's what. Fingers, clapping his hands. All right, I'm gonna go with it. All right. Some flesh pot mascot was tied into a lover's knot with a whatnot in her hand. That was me and a friend. All right. Now, young Scott with a slingshot finally found a tender spot. We're always looking for life's tender spots. You know, that's where the love is, you know. He throws his lover in the sand, and some bloodshot forget-me-not whispers daddy's within earshot. I was always very unpopular with my girlfriend's parents. Save the buckshot, ow, turn up the band, but I could not be defeated, you see. And we got the chorus. I was blinded by the light. That kind of says it all, you know. That's what I was looking for. Cut loose like a deuce, another runner in the night. This is an interesting line because this song is my only #1 song. I never had another #1 song except this one, and it wasn't done by me. It was done by Manfred Mann, which I appreciate. But they changed this line. My line says cut loose like a deuce, and theirs said cut loose like a douche. I have a feeling that is why the song skyrocketed to #1. But it's one of those, you know, that word, you know, and deuce was like little deuce coupe, as in two-seater hot rod. Douche, of course, is a feminine hygienic procedure. So they're different. And, but what can I say? You know, the public spoke and they were right, you know. So, all right, let me carry on. Brimstone, baritone, anticyclone, rolling stone, preacher from the east. Says dethrone the dictaphone, hit it in its funny bones. Gotta be funny. Everything was funny. It's where they expect at least. New moon chaperone, standing in the corner all alone, watching the young girls dance. I guess that was the YMCA when they had the guys sitting in the corner with the flashlight, and if you moved in for a quick grind, they'd hit you with the spotlight. Some fresh sown moonstone was messing with his frozen zone. That was if you were in the stands. The YMCA had a little basketball court in the stands. In the far corner of the stands, there was always something slightly shady going on, you know. To remind him of the feeling of romance, very necessary. Blinded by the light, there comes the chorus. Some silicone sister with her manager's mister, possibly the first reference to female breast enhancement in popular music. So I was ahead of my game on that. Said I'll turn you on, Sonny, to something strong if you play that song with the funky break, which is my business. Go-kart Mozart, checking out the weather chart, see if it was safe to go outside. A little early Pearly came by in her curly whirly and asked me if I needed a ride. That's self-explanatory. Some hazard from Harvard was skunked on beer. Well, that was sort of the day. This was 1972, which was just still the 60s in New Jersey, and it was kind of this whole campus radical thing, and so that found its way in. Scotland Yard was trying hard. The FBI sent some dude with a calling card. The undercover agent said, "Do what you like, but don't do it here." Jumped up, turned around, spit in the air, fell on the ground. Asked him which was the way back home. Said, "Take a right at the light, keep going straight until night. And then, boys, you're on your own," which I was. Is that all clear? By now, the rhyming dictionary is in flames. It's hot in my hand, man. I'm just burning up. Zanzibar shooting star was riding a sidecar, humming a lunar tune. Avatar said, "Blow the bar." Once again, campus radicals first removed the cookie jar. Don't blow up the money. We're going to teach those boys to laugh too soon. Some kidnapped handicap was complaining that he caught the glap. A little road experience, unfortunately, from some mousetrap he bought last night. I unsnapped the skull cap between his ears. I saw the gap and figured he'd be all right. Don't overthink the whole thing. Which I didn't do on this. Don't overthink the whole thing. So really, the best line, the line that makes the whole song. Mama always told me not to look into the sights of the sun, but Mama, that's where the fun is. And that was where I wanted to go. I wanted to get blinded by the light. I wanted to do things I hadn't done and see things I hadn't seen. I was 23 years old. I wanted to create my own ridiculous language, and so it was really a young musician's tale, kind of a litany of adventures, and it was rather on the autobiographical side. Wasn't a hit though. Maybe I should have changed that word. So. Right around, I didn't really write very well about men and women till 87, and so I was 37 at the time, and I wasn't doing very well either, so maybe that had something to do with it. But the Tunnel of Love came along. I wrote a real record about kind of men and women and what that's about, and kind of the cornerstones of the record were the issues of identity and love. Who am I, and where am I going to be? Where do I belong? Where am I going to end up? So I'm going to tackle the easy one first, identity, all right? That's a joke, all right? Now, my wife will often finish an argument with me by saying, "Say that in your next interview, Mr. Bruce Springsteen." Implying that a gap between an opinion I just voiced and my public self, if heard in the public forum, would shock, outrage, and disquiet my fans. All right? She's usually right, so she wins. You know. We have multiple selves. You know, that's just the way we're built. We got sort of this public self, public face that we show to others. I'm wearing mine right now. There it is. We don't know the other self, though. What's that applause mean? Like, you worked well on that public face? You cheating, lying, you know? What is that? Well, I don't get that. What is that applause for? It's mysterious. But let me give you a for instance. I used to like to go to the strip clubs back before they were fancy, the fancy ones. Back in the prehistoric days before the lap dancing, and but there was two people who would rather me not go. One whose wishes I must respect, but the other one was that holier-than-thou bastard Bruce Springsteen. Now, why would he want to deny a simple man his simple pleasures? I will not bore you with, all right? But had many arguments about it, and it kind of culminated in one day I'm sitting in a favorite spot of mine along the highway side. And I'm enjoying the show, and I've had a few drinks, and my mind is momentarily at peace. You know? I'm marveling at the fact that the background radiation from the Big Bang, the physical proof of all of creation that was there before me, was discovered just 10 minutes away from this bar that I was sitting in at that moment. Which is true. It's right over here in Homedale, New Jersey. with that happy thought in my mind, I got up to leave. As I reached the parking lot, a woman and a man spied me and said, "Bruce, you aren't supposed to be here." So I could see where they were going with the whole thing. And so I said, "Well, I'm not." I said, "I am simply an errant figment of one of Bruce's many selves. I drift in the ether over the highways and byways of the Garden State, often touching down in image incongruous but fun places." Bruce does not even know I'm missing. He is at home right now doing good deeds. So that usually stupefies and satisfies him. I got to get through the world somehow. And I go on my merry way. So the self is a mysterious thing. Love. Now, love, of course, can't be explained, only experienced. Brilliant Disguise, on first listening, I guess it sounds like a song of betrayal. You know, who's that person sleeping next to me? Who am I? You know, do I know enough about myself to be honest with that person? But a funny thing happens. Songs shift their meanings when you sing them. They shift their meanings in time. They shift their meanings with who you sing them with. When you sing the song with somebody you love, it turns into something else, I think, and it becomes a song of kind of a reaffirmation of love's mysteries, its shadows, our frailties, and the acceptance of those frailties, without which there is no love. So, let me bring out the missing essential ingredient in that equation. Come on, Pat. Help me out. One whose wishes I must respect. Oh, let's give it a shot. I hold you in my arms as a band plays. What are those words whispered, baby, just as you turn away? I saw you last night out on the edge of town. I wanna read your mind and know just what I've got in this new thing I found. So tell me what I see when I look in your eyes. Is that you, baby, or just a brilliant disguise? I heard somebody call your name from underneath our willow. I saw something tucked in shame underneath your pillow. Well, I've tried so hard, baby, but I just can't see what a woman like you is doing with me. So tell me who I see when I look in your eyes. Is it you, baby, or just a brilliant disguise? Now look at me, baby, struggling to do everything right, and then it all falls apart. Oh, when just a lonely pilgrim. I walk this world in where I wanna know if it's you I don't trust, 'cause I damn sure don't trust myself. Now you play the loving woman, I play the faithful man, but just don't look too close into the palm of my hand. Well, we stood at the altar, Gypsy swore our future was right, but come the wee hours, maybe, baby, the Gypsy lied. So when you look at me, you better look hard and look twice. Is that me, baby, or just a brilliant sky? Tonight our bed is cold, I'm lost in the darkness of our love. God have mercy on the man who doubts what he's sure of. Yeah, let me try. I saw her standing on the front lawn, just twirling her baton. Me and her went for a ride, sir, and tending some people died. From a town up like in Nebraska, with a sawed-off 410 on my lap, through the badlands of Wyoming, I killed everything in my path. I can't see it, I'm sorry for the things that we've done, at least for a little while, sir. Me and Hubby had us some fun. Jury brought in guilty verdict. Man, the judge sentenced me to death. Midnight in prison storeroom with leather straps across my chest. shove when the man pulls that switch up and snaps my neck back. You make sure my pretty baby's sitting right there on my lap. They declared me unfit to live, set into that great void, my soul be hurled. They want to know why I did what I did. Sir, I guess it's just meanness in this world. Thanks. That was kind of one of the early examples of my narrative songwriting. That's where I started to take a different approach on the River album. I wrote The River and Stolen Car, which were really two songs where I took on a character and I tried to walk in his shoes, and I tried to get you to walk in his shoes also. Songs were quite different. I followed this through on the Nebraska record and on the Ghost of Tom Joad record, and also on a good deal of Devils and Dust. It kind of frees me to choose characters in some ways different from myself, to sing in those voices and to tell those stories along with my own. This type of writing is it's often very detailed, because you're creating a physical world that's not yours. I'm in the desert, I'm in Texas, I'm in Mexico. So it involves a certain amount of research. For this song, I remember I'd been moved by the Terrence Malick film Badlands, and I got interested in the story. There was a book out at the time called Carol, about a girl that was a part Charlie Starkweather's partner. And I, just out of the blue, I decided to call the newspaper in Nebraska. I called up, and the woman who had reported the story was still there 30 years later. So I got to speak to her. And she was just friendly and helpful. Well, the song is, you can put together a lot of detail, but unless you pull something up out of yourself, it's just going to lay flat on the page. You got to find out what you have in common with that character, no matter who they are or what they did. So Nebraska is a song written with the premise that everyone knows what it's like to be condemned, which they do, of course. The body of the song, the first 5 verses, is basically repertorial. It's information you can glean from researching the story. It's spooky because I'm singing in the voice of the dead. And the music is very childlike and mystical. On the record, I used a glockenspiel. And I think I was interested in an oral projection of, I don't know if you're familiar with Robert Mitchum film Night of the Hunter, which is kind of this horror story told from a child's perspective. And I was interested in an oral projection of that idea. Now, the character in this song, he's very plain spoken. He's just storytelling. What he did, what happened. But the song takes place in a place where it's quiet now. You know, it's after the violence. And it feels like it's after his death. There's even a joke. Make sure my pretty baby sits right there on my lap. And things kind of roll along until the end, when someone or something else steps forward. And that's something else. That's me. And that's you. And that's him. And we all kind of meet on, they declared me unfit to live. Everybody knows what that's like. Said into that great void, my soul be heard. Well, yes, it will. They want to know why I did what I did. Well, sir, I guess there's just meanness in this world. Well, yes, there is. And everybody knows what it's like to be condemned. That's Nebraska. There's people back here. Somebody should have told me. The ass seats. All right. All right, let me do this. How you guys making out back there? Can you hear what I'm saying? All right, that's good. 1, 2. Maybe a little bit more piano. That's too much. I'll bring it back where it was. Decisions. All right. Jesus. Oh, wait a minute. I'm fucking it up. I knew that was there for a reason. About to say, you look over and you go, wonder why that's there. Oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh. It's good to be amongst friends, all right. All right, here we go. I'm kissing up to you with that. All right. Jesus was an only son as he walked up Calvary Hill. His mother Mary walking beside him in the path where his blood spilled. Jesus was an only son in the hills of Nazareth. He lay reading the Psalms of David at his mother's feet. Mother, pray, sleep tight, my child, sleep well, for I'll be at your side. Let no shadow, no darkness, no tolling bell will pierce your dreams this night. In the garden at Gethsemane, he prayed for the life he'd never live. He beseeched his heavenly Father to remove a cup of death from his lips. Now there's a loss that can never be replaced, a destination that can never light you'll never find in another's face. A sea whose distance cannot be breached. Jesus kissed his mother's hands, whispered, "Mother, still your tears. For remember, the soul of the universe willed the world and it appeared." Well, that's a song that starts from the premise that everybody knows what it's like to be saved. That's a shakier premise than the other one. You know? On Devils and Dust, I wrote several songs about mothers and sons, and this is really one of them. I had second thoughts about it today when I was behind a car with a bumper sticker said, "Drive carefully, my mommy is in this car." And I was moved to hit the gas and rear-end her as hard as I could. But it's something I haven't written about a whole lot before, and I was kind of interested in the relationship between parent and child, because which is why Mary figures so prominently in the song. I felt if I approach a song from the secular side that the rest of it would come through. To start with the title, Jesus was an only son. Now, of course, Jesus had that's my main metaphor, but Jesus had earthly brothers and sisters, but not on this particular day. This day he was singular. As he walked up Calvary Hill, well, that's his proving ground. That's darkness on the edge of town. His darkness on the edge of town. That's once you're a Catholic, there's no getting out. That's about all there is to it. Keeps coming up. His mother Mary walking beside him, as she would be, in the path where his blood spilled. That is the path of consequence, and we all have one of those. Jesus was an only son in the hills of Nazareth, as he lay reading the Psalms of David at his mother's feet. Well, I wanted an image of parental love and nurturing and of life and of promise and of peace before what was to come. Mother, pray, sleep tight, my child, sleep well, for I'll be at your side. At no shadow, no darkness, no tolling bell will pierce your dreams this night. Well, every parent wants to keep their children from all harm. It's such a primal thing. I was shocked when I first felt it so deep inside myself. And then I had a conversation with a friend where I was afraid that my kids were going to grow up. Said, "Gee, you know, they might not have to struggle, you know, like I struggled. Maybe that's not such a good thing." And he said, "No. You're the parent, man. You give them the best, because the world's going to take care of the rest." And that's true. You know, the world awaits us all, and there's not much that parents can do about it. In the garden at Gethsemane, he prayed for the life he'd never live. He beseeched his heavenly Father to remove the cup of death from his lips. Well, you'd have to be thinking, gee, there was that little bar in Galilee. Pretty nice little place. Weather's good down there, too. I could manage the place. Mary Magdalene could tend bar. We could have some kids. And the preaching, I could do it on the weekends. You know, you don't have to give it up. You'd have to be thinking that. That's all there is to it. There's a loss that can never be replaced, a destination that can never be reached, a light you'll never find in another's face, a sea whose distance cannot be breached. Well, that verse is the finality of death. Regardless of what Jesus was going to mean for Mary, she was just losing her boy. And we lose one another, and people don't get replaced. I had a friend, my wife and I had a friend, young lady lived next door to us who passed away at a very young age, and she used to come over our house regularly every night, and there was a moment when she'd be framed in the front window just before she was gonna knock on the door. And I would look up, and she was this very tall and elegant lady, and I still wait to see her in that window. Jesus kissed his mother's hands, whispered, "Mother, still your tears. For remember, the soul of the universe willed the world and it appeared." That's transformation. Our children have their own destiny. They have their own destiny apart from us. And I think my idea was to try and reach into the idea of Jesus as son, as somebody's boy. Because I think that whatever divinity we can lay claim to is hidden in the core of our humanity. And when we let go, when we let our compassion go, we let go of what little claim we have to the divine. So it's spooky out there sometimes. End of sermon. This is a sunny day. This is wrong. I want to do this song because it's a good example of just pop songwriting, which I like to do a lot. I do a lot of other things, but I've always enjoyed doing this, and even though I tend to want to throw these songs all out directly into the trash can, Mr. Landau usually steps in here and says, "No, not that one." So I'm going to just sing this one and tell you a little bit of how these come about. It's raining, but there ain't a cloud in the sky. Must have been a tear from your eye. Everything will be okay. Well, funny harmonica. Damn. And I was standing here going, "Oh, this shit sounds good. This is good. I'm on this one." I lost it now. Oh, Jesus. All right, here we go. It's raining, but there ain't a cloud in the sky. Must have been a tear from your eye. Everything will be okay. Funny, thought I felt sweet summer breeze. Must have been your sighing so deep. Don't worry, we're gonna find a way. I'm waiting on a sunny day. Gonna chase the clouds away, waiting on a sunny day. Without you, I'm working with the rain falling down. I'm half a party in a one-dog town. I need you to chase these blues away. Without you, I'm a drummer girl that can't keep a beat. Ice cream truck on a deserted street. I hope that you're coming to stay. Yeah, I'm waiting on a sunny day. Gonna chase the clouds away, waiting on a sunny day. Hard times, baby, well, they come to us all. Sure is the ticking of the clock on the wall. Sure is the turning of the night in a day. Your smile, girl, brings the morning light to my eyes. Lifts away the blues when I rise. I hope that you're coming to stay. I'm waiting on a sunny day. Gonna chase the clouds away. Well, you know what these songs are for. Come on, you bastards, earn your keep. I'm waiting on a sunny day. Gonna chase the clouds away, waiting on a sunny day. Once more, yeah, I'm waiting on a sunny day. Gonna chase the clouds away, waiting on a sunny day. That's pretty simple. That's what I write these for. You know, I write to hear him come back at me like that. It's fun, you know. Just pure pop songwriting is a lot of fun. It's fun to play with the words in a simple fashion. Like it's raining, but there ain't a cloud in the sky. Must have been a tear from your eye. That's right. Everything will be okay. Now, the master of this, of course, was Smokey Robinson. And when I write these, I tend to sometimes I think about him singing them, and it gives me an idea of the phrasing. Like if Smokey was going to sing it, I'd be like, from the top, please. It's rain, ooh, it's raining. Wait a minute, I gotta concentrate. It's raining, but there ain't a cloud in the sky. Must have been a tear from your eye. Everything will be okay. Ooh, funny. Thought I felt sweet summer breeze. Must have been your sighing so deep. So that's, that's like pure Smokey, My apologies to Smokey Robinson. But there's not much else to say about those. They speak for themselves, They're fun to write. Hungry Heart, Dancing in the Dark. It's just one of those things you get out on stage and it happens. And also there's songs that they free my mind from the interminable bullshit I put myself through on a lot of the other stuff, and allows me to just say, it's rain. I'm Smokey Robinson. It's raining, but there ain't a cloud in the sky. Must have been a tear from your eye. In my dreams, but anyway. Can't see nothing in front of me. Can't see nothing coming up behind. Make my way through this darkness. Can't feel nothing but this chain that binds me. Lost track of how far I've gone. How far I've gone, how high I've climbed. My back's a 60-pound stone. My shoulder half-mile of line. Come on up for the rising. Come on up, lay your hands on mine. Come on up for the rising. Come on up for the rising tonight. Left the house this morning. Bells ringing filled the air. Wearing the cross of my calling. On wheels of fire I come roaring down here. Come on up for the rising. Come on up, lay your hands in mine. Come on up for the rising. Come on up for the rising tonight. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. There's spirits above and behind me. Faces gone, black eyes burning bright. May their precious blood bind me, Lord, as I stand before your fiery light. Lie, 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 lie. I see Mary in the garden of 1,000 sighs. There's holy pictures of our children dancing in a sky filled with light. May I feel your arms around me. May I feel your blood mixed with mine. The dream of life comes to me like a catfish dancing on the end of my line. Sky of blackness and sorrow, dream of life Sky of love, sky of tears, a dream of life. Sky of glory and sadness, a dream of life. Sky of mercy, sky of fear, a dream of life. Sky of memory and shadow, a dream of life. Your burning wind fills my arms tonight. Sky of longing and emptiness, a dream of life. Sky of fullness, sky of blessed life. Come on up for the rising. Come on up, lay your hands in mine. Come on up for the rising. Come on up for the rising tonight. Thanks. All right. That was written as a bookend to Into the Fire from off the Rising album. This was sort of as I was moving. This is one of the later songs I wrote for the Rising, and I was trying to follow some internal story that I felt that I'd threaded into. And what happens is, as you write not just the songs, but as you write the albums, you have to listen very hard to what you've done, because it will talk. It will start speaking to you about what you need to do. Once you get a good couple of lines for a song, those lines will start speaking to you. You get a good couple of songs for an album, those songs will start speaking to you about what journey you're on and where your characters are going and what you need to write next. So I remember after Into the Fire, towards the end of the record, I'd seen, I don't know, there was just something inside you says it wants another song. So when I wrote it, I didn't think that much of it. I sent it to John. Say, maybe this one might work out. I'm not sure. Sometimes you can't hear them right away. Also, after you write them for some reason. I'll give you a little trip through. Can't see nothing in front of me. Can't see nothing coming up behind. Well, that's you. I start the song in the netherworld. That's someplace you've never been. It's your world, but it's been transformed by this event into this unknown and unknowable place. I make my way through the darkness. Can't feel nothing but this chain that binds me. And all I have in this netherworld is you who are in front of me and you who are behind me. That's all I have in our connection. Lost track of how far I've gone, how high I've climbed. On the back's a 60-pound stone, on my shoulder a half-mile of line. On my back I have what I must do. A 60-pound stone. I have my job. I have what I must do. And I have the tools that I need to do it. Come on up for the rising. Come on up, lay your hands in mine. Now the song moves into gospel and transformation there. Something is about to happen. I left the house this morning, bells ringing filled the air. All right, so what bells? Well, there's sirens, church bells, the tolling bell, There's bells of chaos, bells of transformation. Wearing the cross of my calling, on wheels of fire I come rolling down here. That is my uniform. And my uniform fills me with the power and strength of my responsibility. It's a part of who I am and what I must do. Come on up for the rising. Come on up. Lay your hand in mine. Lie, 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 lie. Once again, there is an unspoken subtext. That is the beauty of music and rock and roll. It comes in and it continues to tell a story. The Lilacs, what do they say? They say, sing with me. They also say, stand alongside of me. We will stand together in this. Spirits above and behind me, faces gone, black eyes burning bright. May their precious blood bind me as I stand before your fiery light. All right, spirits above and behind me. You pray to be guided by those who have gone before you. You pray to them to guide you and to give you courage when you're going to need it. Lie, 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 lie. That's the prayers. And the last verse, I see you, Mary, in the garden. All right, well, Mary who? Mary, a wife, a lover. Jesus is Mary. In the garden of 1,000 sighs. Everybody's been there. There's holy pictures of our children dancing in a sky filled with light. I'm surrounded by sacred things. May I feel your arms around me. May I feel your blood mixed with mine. This is what I need. I need your arms. I need your blood. This is what I'm going to miss. Your physicality and flesh and blood, my own physicalness. Dream of life comes to me like a catfish dancing on the end of my line. That's just life, life, life. Up there on the edge of something else. Sky of blackness and sorrow, sky of love, sky of tears, sky of glory and sadness, sky of mercy, sky of fear, sky of memory and shadow. Your burning wind fills my arms tonight. Sky of longing and emptiness, sky of fullness, sky of blessed life. Come on up for the rising. Come on up, lay your hands in mine. That's transformation. These are the songs that you wait for. Did I think of any of this prior to writing the song? No. But I felt all of it when I was writing the song. Over 30 years, you internalize your craft and the mechanics of storytelling. It becomes like a second language, and you speak without thinking, and like a second skin that you feel with. And so you pray to the gods of creativity and aliveness that you remain awake and alert and in command of your senses, so that when the moments arrive, you are ready. That's the rising. You ain't got to stand up twice. Once was enough. I still remember the last one. So. Anybody got tissue back there? All right, let me go here. Get rid of that right there. Thunder Road. All right. Let me get to it. Screen door slams, Mary's dress sways. Like a vision, she dances across the porch as the radio plays. Roy Orbison singing for the lonely. Hey, that's me and I want you only. Don't turn me on again. Just can't face myself alone again. Don't you run back inside, darling. You know just what I'm here for. So you're scared and you're thinking that maybe we ain't that young anymore. Surely little faith is magic in the night. You ain't a beauty, but hey, you're alright. Oh, and that's alright with me. You can hide beneath your covers and study your pain. And crosses from your lovers, throw roses in the rain. Waste your summer praying in vain for Savior to rise from these streets. I'm no hero that's understood. All redemption I can offer girls beneath this dirty hood. With a chance to make it good somehow. Yeah, what else can we do now? Step roll down the window and let the wind blow back your hair. Well, the night's busted open, these two lanes will take us anywhere. We got one last chance to make it real. We're trading these wings on some wheels. Climbing back, heaven's waiting down on the tracks. Oh, come take my hand. We're riding out tonight to Case the Promised Land. Oh, Thunder Road, oh, Thunder Road, Thunder Road. It's lying out there like a killer in the sun. I know it's late, but we can make it if we run. Oh, Thunder Road, sit tight, take hold, Thunder Road. Well, I got this guitar and I learned how to make it talk. The car's out back if you're ready to take that long walk. From your front porch to my front seat, the door's open, but the ride it ain't free. I know you're lonely, there's words that I ain't spoken. But tonight we'll be free, all the promises will be broken. There were ghosts in the eyes of all the boys you sent away. They haunt this dusty beach road and the skeleton trains turned out Chevrolets. They scream your name at night in the street. Graduation gown lies in rags at their feet. In the lonely cool before dawn, you hear their engines roaring on. When you get to the porch, they're gone on the wind. So Mary, climb in. It's a town full of losers that we're pulling out here to win. That's close enough for rock and roll, I guess. Thanks. All right. Well, that song was written in West End, Long Branch. I was living up the street from the Inkwell. There's a little house that's still there. I think it's 7.5 West End Court, little green shotgun shack. Wrote most of the songs from Born to Run in. And this song kind of had a long gestation. We played it in a variety of different versions with the band for quite a while that were longer and a little more arranged. And then when John Landau came in to produce Born to Run, he suggested that we edit it down and he thought it would be more powerful, which it was. And so I thank him for the shape and form that the song ended up in. What's it about? It's really it's an invitation. You know, it's the opening of Born to Run was my big invitation. That big album when it used to fold out with me and Clarence smiling on it. That was the invitation card, you know. And we invite you to something. Not sure what yet. So, you know, the music was important. The music, the beginning sounds like an invitation. Something is opening up to you. Something is opening up. And what I hoped it would be when I wrote the song was what I got out of rock and roll music, which was a sense of a larger life, greater experience, hopefully more and better sex, sense of fun, more fun, sense of your personal exploration and your possibilities. The idea that it was all lying somewhere inside of you, and it was, you know, just there on the edge of town. So that was an invitation. The song it's basically an invitation. Let me see, I'll go through the lyrics a little bit. Screen door slams, Mary's dress sways. Well, the sound of a screen door slamming is so, I mean, when I was a kid, bang, bang, I heard it 1,000 times at my back porch, you know. It meant all kinds of different things. Bang, what a great day, I can't wait to get outside and play. Bang, get your ass out of the house, man. Here goes my, you know, bang, it was just such a resonant sound that it always seemed to be the beginning of something. So the screen door slams, Mary's dress sways, there's Mary again. Like a vision, she dances across the porch as the radio plays. Roy Orbison singing for the lonely. Listen to Roy Orbison a lot during this record, and just the dark sense of romanticism and the operaticness, and my singing on this particular record was my pathetic attempt to come close, you know. But so I was Roy Orbison singing for the lonely. Hey, that's me. I want you only. Don't turn me home again. Can't face myself alone again. Let's get something started. Don't run back inside. You know just what I'm here for. You're scared. You're thinking maybe we ain't that young anymore. And I was only 24 when I wrote that line. That kind of scared me now. But The reason I think was these songs were written in 1974, which is only 2 years after the end of the Vietnam War. Nobody was that young anymore. And so out it came. Show a little faith, there's magic in the night. Ain't a beauty, but hey, you're all right. It's all right with me. You can hide beneath your covers and study your pain. Make crosses from your lovers, throw roses in the rain. Waste your summer praying in vain for a Savior to rise from these streets. Catholic school, Catholic school, Catholic school. May John Paul rest in peace. Well, now, I'm no hero, that's understood. But if there's a job opening, let me see. All redemption I can offer is beneath this dirty hood. A chance to make it good somehow. What else can we do now? Now. Step roll down the window and let the wind blow back your hair. Well, the night's busted open, these two lanes will take us anywhere. That's where it all happens. And anyway, that's like, once again, the music, that's where the song opens up. Suddenly you are away, you're out, you're in your car, your hair is blowing, you're flying. I was trying to get that feeling so people would want to go chase it. You're trying to make people feel something so they'll go in their own lives and chase that thing, Where was I? Here we are. Take us anywhere. We got one last chance to make it real. Trading these things on some wheels, these wings on some wheels. Gotta have your feet on the ground if you're gonna make it. Can't be a fantasy. Can't be a fairy tale. Climbing back heavens, waiting down on the tracks. We're gonna make our own. Oh, come take my hand, riding out the night to Case, the promised land. Yes, we were. Oh, Thunder Road, oh, Thunder Road, Thunder Road. Thank you, Robert Mitchum. Thunder Road, that's got the title from a Robert Mitchum movie. Lying out there like a killer in the sun. I know it's late, but we can make it if we run. Oh, Thunder Road, sit tight, take hold, Thunder Road. I got this guitar and I learned how to make it tall. Probably the hokiest line I ever wrote. And I've written a few of them, let me tell you. But I guess that's why it was good, It's my instrument of deliverance. I learned how to make it tall. Cars out back if you're ready to take that long walk. From your front porch to my front porch to my front seat. The door is open. The ride, it ain't free. I know you're lonely. There's words that I ain't spoken. Tonight we'll be free. All the promises will be broken. Well, that was just like, all bets were off. It's a new day. There were ghosts in the eyes of all the boys you sent away. They haunt this dusty beach road and the skeleton frames of burned out Chevrolets. They scream your name at night in the street. Your graduation gown lies in rags at their feet. In the lonely cool before dawn, you hear their engines roaring on. All that we will leave behind When you get to the porch, they're gone on the wind. So Mary, climb in. It's a town full of losers, and I'm pulling out here to win. Nothing left but the ride. So this was my big invitation to my audience, to myself, to anybody that was interested. My invitation to a long and very earthly journey. Hopefully in the company of someone you love, people you love, and in search of a home you can feel a part of. Good luck. Good evening. All right, who's got one? Go ahead, my friend.
Bruce, I feel like you're bearing your soul when you sing, and songs like Growing Up and My Hometown and Promised Land, I feel like I know you. Do I?
No. It's part of the job. That whole feeling like I know you thing is like, but, I don't know. I think that it's like anything else, you know. You obviously, you put a lot of yourself in the songs, and it's work, and it's an aesthetic, and it's a presentation, and you can't write without pulling all the stuff up out of yourself. That's what makes it feel real. That's what makes it communication. But I guess it's always an incomplete picture. That's what keeps me writing. Anybody else got one?
After I heard Devils and Dust, my first thought was that I'm just out of college, and I know some of my friends who are serving in Iraq, and I can see them being placed in the same kind of situation as the characters in the song, and I was wondering if that was your desired intent.
It was just to tell that story, you know, from what felt like trying to tell a story from the inside, you know. Like I said, it's a story about being placed in a situation where of untenable choices, where you're going to have to make decisions that you're going to have to live with the rest of your life, and you're 19 and you're 20 or 22 years old. It takes enormous courage. So I was really sort of just interested in bringing that forward, both what I felt that entailed and what that must feel like. And I always take a very non-rhetorical point of view. I try to write from the point of view of, say, the individual in the situation. It feels more human, and I think it reaches people better than some of rhetorical songwriting, you know. Yeah, you try to get somebody to walk in those shoes. You know, basically that's so. And also you try to throw some light on what you feel is happening in your house, you know, in where you live and the place that you want to raise your children and the kind of world and country you want to put them in. I've got young boys who are 14, and that's not far from fighting age, you know. So that's on your mind also. Anybody else?
Hey.
All right.
So many of your songs are considered so cinematic, and likewise, it seems your work has really been influenced by film over the years. From Badlands to Robert Mitchum's Thunder Road, into your work with like Philadelphia and Dead Man Walking. Is there any film or particular films that have inspired Devils and Dust?
Not really. I think that, you know, I have a history of things that I've watched over the years. A lot of once again, I always go back to the basics, sort of the film noir in the 50s and 40s and stuff like Out of the Past, Robert Mitchum's Out of the Past, and some B pictures too. I watched High Sierra last night, Humphrey Bogart, and it was great. I'd never seen it before, and it's filmed beautifully, and it's set in the West, where I set a lot of my songs. It was just a beautiful picture to look at, and he was terrific in it. But I think those issues of men and women struggling against the darkness in some fashion always fascinated me. It's always a metaphor for what we go through inside ourselves. I think once I got past 30, when films and novels and writers like James M. Cain and Jim Thompson. I don't know if you've ever read any Jim Thompson, but it's great stuff. And this is stuff that influenced a lot of my writing and a lot of the writing on this record also. I sit down to create a physical world, one that has a breadth and depth, and I do think cinematically when I'm writing the lyrics. So it's quite influential for the movies. Anybody else got something? Go ahead, my friend.
As a person of color in America, the lyrics of many of your songs, American Skin, Land of Hope and Dreams, really resonate with my personal experiences of being sometimes invisible, sometimes too visible, and always somehow in the margins. And I'm wondering, as a white man in America, what experiences do you tap into that you're able to capture in such a poignant way the struggles that many minority people go through?
I don't know. You know, I grew up in a integrated community. I grew up in Freehold. It was a little street where there was, it was black and white people, and I grew up with it as a child. I traveled, obviously, an integrated band my whole life, and over the years, from time to time, we have seen a few things, I don't know. I also think it goes to that deeper sense of feeling invisible. That was something I felt very, very strongly myself, probably for the first 16 or 17 years of my life. I really felt like just not there. And it was a very powerful and really unpleasant experience, and I'm sure it was the primary thing that made me want to write and sing. Was I want to be recognized, just that I'm here, my existence, what I think, what I have to say, and I'm going to have to seize that in some fashion. That was probably the primary motivation behind picking up the guitar and playing, how it connects. I grew up during the era civil rights struggle. And lived in 2 towns where there was a lot of rioting, and had white and black friends all the time, you know, and saw a lot of. It wasn't hard to find a prejudice in those days, you know. Very easy to find in any small town across America. But I really think it was the internal feeling of invisibility that I felt myself, and I felt so deeply, and I sort of said, well, I didn't like that. I don't think anybody else gonna like that either, you know. So that's probably, you know, that's what kind of sent me in that direction, and influenced a lot of just picking up the guitar and my songwriting later on. Anybody else?
I'm a longtime fan, and I struggle to make my wife understand my devotion to your music.
All right.
True. I've taken her to a dozen shows over the last couple of years, and while she loves Clarence,
I got you. What about the skinny Italian guy standing next to me?
I struggle to get my devotion over to her. I try to explain the themes of hope and redemption that run through your music, and she doesn't get it. How would you explain to a non-fan or someone who's never heard your music what your music is all about?
Well, I wouldn't try to explain it. As I said, sort of trying to explain music is like, you know, talking about sex. You know, it's better when demonstrated, and so that's my best shot. What else we got?
Right here, Bruce. Spiritual and religious concerns have had a genuine presence in your work from the very beginning, and seem to have particular thematic resonance on such albums as Tunnel of Love and The Rising. Since some of your acknowledged influences beyond the musical realm, like Flannery O'Connor
Right.
and Walker Percy and John Ford, for example, manifested a certain Catholic artistic sensibility, to what extent does your faith inform your work and your writing?
Well, you know, I'm a runaway Catholic, and I have pagan babies at home, you know, so so I'm not sure exactly how to answer the whole thing. But once you're in, you know, you can't get out. You know, I thought that I could. When I got out of Catholic school, I said, "See ya, suckers," you know, and but as I began to write and live, I found that it was just always there. It's just always there, and I don't have a problem with it. I draw from it a lot. You know, a lot of my imagery from when I was a kid to this record is very, you know, it's religious imagery. Religious imagery is powerful. It is a language that people understand. It's a language that we have in common. Everybody has that geography inside them, you know, a spiritual geography of some sort. Thunder Road, I was just singing, you know, lovers, crosses, roses. I mean, it's just all through my music, and I'm in a place where I don't need to like hold it off, right? And I don't need to necessarily dive in. You know, I'm in a pretty good place with it at this point, and I realize it's just me. It was the way I was brought up. It's the things that terrified me and I suppose thrilled me in many strange ways from when I was a kid. You know, that was a mysterious world. The Catholic school world in the 50s was a world of many shadows and mysteries and certainly a good deal of brutality, but also of a, man, you're in a secret club, you know. But so I'm kind of, I'm just at ease with it, and I just let it roll. I let it roll through my music now and roll out, and I use it for my own guidelines in different ways. You know, hope I explained that semi-clearly enough. Anybody else?
Hi. You've written songs about your mother, your father, and your sisters and their hard times and some personal subjects. How did they react?
Well, my dad, you know, I thought he might not like the songs because they tended to be critical, but when I asked him what ones he liked, he said the ones about me, you know, so I'm not sure what that meant, that it just sort of people like being written about in general, maybe, yeah. But it was a dialogue. It opened up a dialogue that we we're never going to be able to have, or rarely had, just through speaking, you know. And it was kind of helpful. It was helpful to me anyway. And he didn't seem to mind, you know. And it was sort of, you know, one of the music is a nonverbal, you know. It's a language, you know. And sometimes the people go to it because sometimes the language we speak every day doesn't work that well, you know. Sometimes we don't communicate very well face to face and just with words, and so music is a lovely. It's a lovely it can be a lovely alternative when you can't reach somebody. Sometimes you can reach somebody that way. So, anybody else?
Yeah. Hey Bruce, when you were coming out in the early '70s, it was at the end of the British musical invasion, especially the Beatles. But yet your music seems so much more rooted in American soul and folk with not much British influence. Except for like a mention or two in a song. How did the Beatles influence your music? A lot of the stuff that was more British influenced, if you pick up tracks, believe it or not, there's quite a bit of that on it, you know, particularly during the River. There was a lot of things that I think loose ends and things that had a slightly more of a British feel. I think I might have tended to take them off because they slipped very much into a sort of a pop genre that I was interested in staying on the edges of, and also I was interested in writing in an American style, you know, and that was important to me, and so I tended to focus on those things when I chose songs for my record. Anybody else before we call it a night? Yeah.
Over the years, you've sort of developed this reputation as rock and roll's nice guy. I would imagine that must become a burden once in a while, and I'm wondering if you ever
I
want
can come out and slap you around a little bit if I want. But, go ahead.
I just got called out.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you if you ever want to go Johnny Rotten on somebody once in a while, but I guess you just did it on me.
Well, yeah, well, you do. You know, it's one of those things. I don't know what I know what to say about it. I kind of roll about my way, and I tend to respond to people. I guess I was kind of lucky in that I sort of generally like people. I suppose if you don't catch me at the wrong moment, you know, I generally like people, and so that helps in my job. So maybe that had something to do with it. But I don't know about the rest. You want to do one more? Yes, please.
One more. Bruce, you've mentioned that when you come up with a set list for a show, you like to take the crowd on a journey from point A to point B.
All right.
How did you come up with that journey that you've taken us as a crowd on tonight?
All right. I had a new song, a record I'm trying to sell, and so got to sing a few of those, you know. And I think I wasn't going to play Thunder Roads. I sang it a lot, but at the same time, it's such a seminal song for me, and maybe, you know, the most important song off of Born to Run, in a funny sort of way, you know. So that felt like, you know, plus I hadn't played it on a piano much, and I enjoy sitting on the piano and playing it. I just try to do a few things that show the different types of songwriting and how I approach them. Some of them are very internal and very psychological, and also some of them are very, you know, you research for and you try to create other worlds. And some are just pop songwriting. You're trying to be Smokey Robinson. You're trying to come up with a cool phrase that people are going to sing back to you. So I kind of looked at a general body of work and tried to pull things out. Then something about men and women, and you know, pull things out from that with different emotional tonalities from different parts of my career, you know. So you know, it wasn't too hard, you know. Came up with it pretty easy. Well, all I can say is I had a good time, and I'm glad. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and thank you. And I'll be seeing you out on the road.